Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, and in this brief tutorial, what I'll be going over is how to convert this data set that you have in front of you and be able to convert this into a cohesive map, which you can then use to communicate whatever it is that you're trying to better understand. So let's get started here. So before we go down the road of understanding exactly what it is we're studying, let's try to hone in on a topic area that would be something interesting to be looking at, something that is a relevant issue. And when it pertains to substance use or alcohol use, one of the things that the National Survey on Drug Use actually asks is how much or what the frequency of alcohol use is. And so this would be a really good research question to be asking. And more importantly, of course, this is specifically about geospatial distributions. So more specifically, it is really important for you to be able to understand and see if there's any geographic patterns that you should be thinking about. Okay, so let me also go ahead and show you some of these maps and some of these menu items here. So what I did here is I expanded the field of view so that you can see some of the mapping selections that I am using. And also a word of caution, before you go in and start selecting certain menu items, there may be some error options and some sort of warning messages where it's saying that some of the points are not readable. And so you can go ahead and select OK. And pretty soon you'll find that you'll be able to be working with a data set where you can create maps. Anyway, okay, so we're ready now to go ahead and create our first map. So a couple of options here. This is in the insert menu. So you have file, home, and insert if you're reading from the left. And then over here under insert, look at this globe icon with green land masses. And so that would be maps. So let's click here. And before we select something, let's look at the choices. So there's a filled map. Let's see what this field map shows. Okay, interesting. So this field map is showing some interesting values, and if we select that or more map charts, let's see what more map charts says. So if we look at insert and look at the maps and the field map, so you'll see that there's options, and so I selected this accidentally twice so we can get rid of two of them. But here you can see now that there's some distributions that you can kind of now manipulate and change around to see which one you like the most. And so you don't want to use uh, variable names like A, B, O, D, A, L, C because the person that is reading the map, they have no idea about what this may mean to them. So what I suggest is actually going into the variable name and maybe changing this to alcohol use. And so what you'll find is that will automatically change your legend. And so we can quickly take a look here and look at the different states within the United States and see that some of the southern states, and you can actually click on Louisiana, the value is 8.33, which is on the higher end compared to some of the other values. So as you can see for Oklahoma, the value for alcohol use is 6.66. So this is a really detailed map, really, if you think about it, and you can change this chart title to say alcohol use within the last 12 months, and you can always go back and see what each of these variables represent and what that means. So that's one way to create different maps. Now, instead of maps, you can also select something called 3D maps. And so I'm going to quickly go into 3D maps. But I hope at a very basic level, you're able to understand and potentially appreciate some of these distributions, and make some observations. Try to make some observations from the maps that you create. But here is a 3D maps, and sometimes you might get errors, and that's okay. And sometimes there's a tour that you might have to go through, but this is a representation of all of the different percentages, and you can kind of change around the legend, add field, and try to look for different types of visuals that you can change around. So here you can actually change the size and the category and the time, and then you have some layer options here. And so layering is a very important concept in geospatial analysis because of the fact that there's special attributes. For instance, the alcohol use can be then overlaid from other layers. For instance, cigarette use, tobacco use, and other substance use. There's also one for marijuana use, monthly marijuana use. There's also other types of data that you can be thinking about. So even there's also a place for heroin use. So you can go through this and try to appreciate all the different types of layers that you can create, and then in a similar manner, either create a two-dimensional or a three-dimensional layer. I hope this has helped. I hope some of the tutorials and some of the exploration you can appreciate within Excel. There's a lot of features that are present. In fact, there's some sorts of connections between Bing maps and other types of maps. I really encourage you to take this moment, explore some of these different opportunities to make visuals and maps, and then either through screenshots, try to put all of these different visuals in one place, and look for patterns. I encourage you to look for patterns. So in this video, I've gone over how to conveniently open up a geospatial data set within Excel and to be able to visualize and create your first map regarding a specific attribute which is pertaining to substance use from a nationally representative existing data set. Thank you for listening.